Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here and welcome back to another episode of the Gibraltar Challenge, and here we are with the beginning of season number 8, our first season as a professional side. As you can see, a little bit disappointing in the Champions League. Once again we lost 3-1 on aggregate to Maribor. We looked a lot better this year actually. I think we can do a bit more this year. I think once we've had a full season of these players playing together and starting to grow, I think next year we can really push whoever we get in that Champions League draw. I'm hoping it'll be another easy round, but you never know, I suppose. You never know. In this episode, we're going to play off against Olympique in the Pepe Reyes Cup, and we're also going to play against Cannons in the First Division as well. Of course, we've got a lot of brand new players since the last time I saw you. Who have we signed that's new? I think we had these. We've just signed Nick Halton as well. Another centre-back, another really good centre-back, actually. And you can tell by the fact of who he's wanted. Well, he's actually wanted by Woking. Where are Woking in the world now? Have they got themselves up a bit, have they? Or are they still... No, they're still in the conference. But still, he's got really good stats. So I think he's actually a really good player. We've also signed Arnaldo Jobello, who is a French winger. I think he's going to be a pretty good player. As you can see, because all these players are now becoming professional and training 7 days a week, their stats are starting to grow up as well. So that's pretty good. We also signed Craig Williams, who is an attacking midfielder. Probably one sort of like a backup player, maybe one for the future, but then again, he's got some decent stats. He might be able to do some stuff for us this season. And we've got Mick Rose, who is a really good right back. I'm really happy to get a hold of him. He's going to do well for us. And then we've also signed Martin Morton, just because I thought I was a bit weak on the wing, so I've got myself another left midfielder. We did let Warren Doherty and Monty Griffo go in the summer, so we've got no real left midfielders, and this guy can fill that void. And as you can see, again, he's a pretty decent player as well, so he's going to do pretty well for us. He's actually come from Manchester City, so he shows how good a player he must be. But yeah, let's get straight into this first match against Olympique and just test out these new guys and see how we get on. And here we are. As you can see, we are massive favourites for this one. We're 1-3. They are 7-1. We should win this one. Our key man is going to be one of our new signings, Eric Velez, which is probably true. We're going for a 4-3-3 and they're going 4-3-3 as well. Very interesting. Right, let's go through the team because as per last season, we've got a brand new squad here, all apart from Frank Evans, of course, who still plays. In goal, we have got Bruno Ramito, who played for the Australian under-20s once again recently and apparently was the man of the match. And as you can see, his stats are all going up as well, so he's going to just get better and better for us. At left back, we have Mario Simoes, a player who's got a really big future, but I think Baxter will probably still be our number one choice left back for now. But we brought him in for this game just to see how he gets on. In the middle, we have Jim Morrison, who is a very good centre-back. You see his stats are very good. Alongside him, we have got Nick Halton. Again, another very good centre-back, some really good stats in there. Right back, we have got Mick Rose. Again, another really good player. He's come from Newcastle, so we've got a couple of Premiership releases. It's pretty good. In midfield, we've got Chris Morgan, another Australian player who came from the Centre of Excellence down in Australia. Really good player, this one. Alongside him, we've got Requena, whose stats are going up. This lad looks like he could be the real deal, you know. He really does. This is his first club. I found him just by searching through some of the under-20s, and he looked really good. We've got Frank Evans playing alongside him in midfield as well, of course, our club captain. Then up front, we have 3 brand new strikers. We have Jens Hugard, whose player I wasn't actually going to play much this season, but you know what? I thought we'd give him the try. We're going to play 3 up front, and Michael Luke's not fit, so this guy's going to get the opportunity. See how he gets on in his debut, 16 years of age. We have got Eric Velez, who scored, of course, in the Champions League. Very good player, this one looks like. We've only got him on loan, this one, so hopefully, if he does really well, we might look at signing him up. And then we also have Cristobal Jimenez, another player who looks really good. One that we were keeping an eye on for over a year, and then he finally signed for us. And I reckon we're going to get a lot of goals out of these 3 guys up front. Hopefully, anyway. So let's get into the game. Let's say we want it for him. We want the trophy for the fans. And we are underway. I'd wonder how many goals we're going to score. The fact that we're now professionals is really going to give us a massive advantage over all of our opponents. Because we should have the better fitness. We should have better everything, really. Better fitness, better players, better training. Everything should really be in our advantage now. There's no reason why we shouldn't just go on and dominate this division more and more as we go on. Velez cuts the ball into Jimenez. It's hit the post. Nearly the first goal for Jimenez. He hasn't scored as yet. But if he carries on with opportunities like that set up by Velez, then it won't be too long before we get some goals. And they're actually on the attack now. But Frank Evans cuts it out nicely. Plays it forward to Hogard. I'm guessing a lot of the pronunciations of these names, so I'm hoping I don't get them wrong. Requena, who's the player I'm really excited about, plays it into Frank Evans, who sees Hogard, who's through the back, and he plays it very unselfishly across the area to Jimenez, who taps it in. Oh, it's offside. Oh, God. Such a great move there by Hogard. Was so unselfish. Knew that playing it across the penalty area would guarantee them a goal. However, it didn't because he was offside, I suppose. Good header there by Samoes. Hogard picks it up, plays it to Velez, who plays it across to Jimenez, and you can see just by the beginning of this match just how much we're going to dominate this season, and Jimenez does finally wallop it home. Jimenez is one of the players that we've got signed up on a permanent basis, which is good. He's actually wanted by quite a few of the Liga BBVA sides, so we might have got ourselves a bit of a lucky sign-in here. My only worry is that we're going to get to the end of this year and some of these players might not want to re-sign because they're all only signed on one-year contracts, which was, for some reason, all I could sign them up for. I don't know whether it's still like held back by the board because they don't want to get into any financial difficulties by only offering one-year contracts. But I'm sure as we go further on, that's going to get better. If we can get some of these clubs to really appreciate Europa Point as a club, maybe we've got more chance of keeping a hold of him. Jimenez sees the run of Velez, who of course, like I said, is on loan, so we're going to lose him at the end of the season unless we decide to take him back on loan or even make a go to buy him outright. He's only got a value of 40,000. We might have to pay more than that to get a hold of him. But if he does well this season, there's no reason why not. But we do have players like Hogard, who is only 16 years of age and has just made his second assist of the game for Jimenez, who scored his second goal of the game. And I told you, didn't I? I told you as soon as we went professional, it would really just spark this entire mode into life. I think next year, once all of our players have had a whole year's play with each other and sort of build themselves up an understanding, we should do better in the Champions League as well. There's a great finish by Jimenez. Great cross as well by Hogard. His second assist of the game. And these three up front are just showing how well they are together. I know Velez assisted the first one. Yeah, sorry, the goal that Hogard did was offside, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember now. So yeah, really good start to the game here. 2-0 after 26 minutes. Very, very happy with how it's going. And like I said, this team's just going to get better and better. All these players have got really good potential. They're all not been playing full-time football for a long time, so the stats would have dropped down slightly. So we can get the stats back up as well, and it's going to be pretty good. There's a deep free kick, and it's been got back by Samoa, showing great desire to get the ball back. There's not a lot of support for him, but players play it across to Morgan, who plays it to Requena, across to Frank Evans, the only Gibraltarian national in the first team at the moment. Rose back into Requena. Across to Morgan, sees Hogard, he deserves a goal. It looks like he might get one. No, Velez steals it and puts it in the back of the net, and it is 3-0. It was a ball through by Morgan. I thought Hogard had got it. I think the keeper just touched it, and it landed perfectly at the feet of Velez to knock it in. And we are 3-0 up before half-time. You see the keeper just palmed it away, and Hogard lost it, and Velez just taken it into the back of the net. And I think Hogard has done so well this game. I think he really deserves a goal. He hasn't got one as yet, but I think he really does deserve one. And if you look at it, they've had as many shots. Well, they've never get close to as many shots as we have. They've had 6, we've had 8. So they're not far away from where we are at the moment. But it just seems that we now have a much better goal scoring opportunities up front. You see Michael Luke is not 100% fit, which is why he's on the bench. We're happy with how it's going. Continue onwards. Might bring on Manning at some point, one of our other new signings from Montserrat. Very, very good player. And that's what it's all going to be about now. It's all going to be about trying to just build, year after year, just building up some better and better players. And maybe, I don't know if we'll ever be able to sell any of these players because we're at such short contracts. I don't know if people ever try and buy them. That's the problem we've got, I suppose. Jimenez is on a hat-trick, isn't he, now? Rose with a throw into Evans. And if we had players like Rose, of course, couldn't play because he wasn't signed in time to play in the Champions League. So he's going to be a bigger addition to next year's squad. Hogard doesn't get the header. Morgan picks the ball up. Plays it across to Requena, who plays it across to Frank Evans. Frank Evans into Jimenez. Jimenez is there. Oh, it's off the post. It's gone out for a corner. Off the post, off the back of the goalkeeper. And out for a corner. And now Morgan is going to take the corner. Headed clear by Clark. We won the league by 21 points last year. We're going to win it by a lot more this year, I reckon. So I'm going to look at making a substitution now. Who are we going to bring off? That's the difficult question. Everyone's playing so well, but I really want to bring on Manning. Do I bring off... I'm going to bring off Frank Evans, and we're going to have a full signing field first team on the pitch. Let's see how Manning gets on. I think it's going to be the difficult point this year is that quite a few of the Gibraltarian players are going to struggle to get first team football because of how good some of these players are we've signed, basically. Striker-wise, Michael Luke may struggle, but he might get a few games. Like I said, he's not 100% fit at the moment. I probably would have played him instead of Hogard, but then again, Hogard's had a fantastic game. There's a cross by Rose, and Velez scores his second of the game. Great little goal that was. And Eric Velez, what a goal. And Rose with a great cross as well. So this brand new first 11 we've signed are incredible, basically. There's Rose with a cross. And Velez with a little cheeky header into the far corner. And we are 4-0 up. And we are dominating now. It was pretty close when we got to half-time. We had like 9 shots, they had 6. Now we've had 19, they've had 6. We've had 10 more shots than them in the second half. We've probably taken our feet off the gas a little bit. 4-0 probably doesn't really warrant how much we've dominated the game. Ramito does pick that ball up nicely. Good work by the new goalkeeper. And I just wonder if a few of these players, after playing in Gibraltar for a few years, might pick up Gibraltarian nationality and actually start to play for the national side. That would be really good for us. Great ball over the top by Manning. It's to be picked up by Jimenez, who does keep it in. Great cross to the far post, and Hogard, he deserved a goal, and he's got himself one as well. We started with 3 strikers up front, and they've scored 5 goals between them. This could be lethal, this could. Really could be a lethal sort of lineup. And I decided to go for this formation because we had some really good strikers. I've been saying for the last couple of years I wasn't happy with our striking options. Michael Luke just wasn't scoring enough goals. Man, these 3 guys up front together look absolutely lethal. And could there be a 6th goal in this as well? Rose plays it into Manning. Manning plays it into Raquena, who is going to be an incredible player. I know he is. You can see how good his stats are now. Jimenez is on a hat-trick. And he does put it into the back of the net, and he gets that hat-trick. This is why he's been on my shortlist for over a year, while I've been waiting to become professional, because he is just that good. Cristobal Jimenez. Great ball once again over the top by Rose, getting himself another assist. And Jimenez with the goal. And what a great start to the season. This is 6-0 in the Pepe Reyes Cup. Or could it be 7 here? We've got another highlight, and there's still a few minutes left. Morrison. Ball over the top. Velez is also on a hat-trick. What a great start of the season would be to get 2 hat-tricks from 2 of our 3 strikers on the pitch. But they do have the ball. Are they going to come forward? Are they going to get themselves a consolation goal, maybe? Guerrero to Clark. Nope, it's been cut out by Heighton. Forward to Hogard. Forward to Velez, who sees Jimenez, who's on the ball. He's in. And that's his 4th goal of the game. And it's 7-0 here to Europa Point in the Pepe Reyes Cup. And Cristobal Jimenez is just showing that he is just a signing and a half, this lad. 4 goals. 4 goals here in his domestic debut. He's played a couple of Champions League games. They've been difficult, but he's finally found his shooting boots here. And we have got ourselves a hell of a squad. This is what dreams are made of, people. And it makes you wonder, if we can win a game like this 7-0, why couldn't we do a little bit better against Maribor? And like I said, I think fitness was one thing, and a few of these players were not eligible to play in the Champions League because we signed them after the registration window. So now I think we're really going to be building ourselves up here. Great win, 4-1. I'm very, very happy about that. Could be much happier, really. So, that's a great start to the season. We won the Pepe Reyes Cup 7-0. Let's see how we get on in the league match, which I think is against Cannons, which which I don't think we played cannons in a good few years. So let's get straight into it. And here we are with the opening league game of the season. Again, we are heavy favourites, which is no surprise. I think we're going to walk this division this year. A few changes. I've had to bring McDonald in because our new goalkeeper, the Australian lad, is now injured. Shouldn't be too long. I think he's going to be out for a couple of games. But isn't it Ritindo? Yeah, he's out injured. So McDonald comes back in, more than capable of doing so. Baxter comes back into left back. I think he's probably our best left back anyway. The French lad is going to sit on the sidelines for a game. Foster comes into midfield alongside Frank Evans, and we're going to start with Marlon Manning as well. Morgan and our Peruvian guy. I'm sorry, I'm not getting used to everyone's name so far. The Peruvian guy and Morgan are both... well, the Peruvian guy's out injured as well. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. And Morgan, we're just resting for this game. And we're going to stick with the same strike force that scored 7 goals in their last outing. So let's see if we can match that today. Hopefully we can. No reason why not. I would imagine it's going to be pretty insane. I think this is actually an easier game than this Pepe Reyes Cup final anyway, so we might even score more goals in this one. If that's possible. Cristobal Jimenez already scored 4 goals in the Pepe Reyes Cup. How many goals are he going to score in this one? It's going to be a bit of a fight this year. I think between Jimenez and Velez, it's going to be a bit of a fight to see who gets top goal scorer in the league as well, because it looks like now we've got 2 real out-and-out goal scorers, which is pretty good. You watch, I'm doing all this talk now, and you watch them come and score. Oh, they've got Philip Duo. He used to play for us. He came through our academy. He's a good little player, he is. Smith to Philip Duo. It's good to see some of our other players that we've released still doing well inside Gibraltar, which is a good thing. Rose has got the ball. We're going to play the counter-attack. It looks of it. Plays it forward to Jimenez. Jimenez sees the run of Velez. Velez across to Frank Evans. Look at that. They've got 10 men behind the ball all of a sudden. But Frank Evans sees the space. Plays it through to Hogard, who had a fantastic debut. 16 years of age. Didn't score as many as the other guys. Oh, Velez, how have you missed that? Yeah, Hogard didn't score as many of the other guys, but he got a couple of assists and really showed a real full game, which was pretty good. See, it's saying it again, there's a big gap between midfield and attack, but it's a standard space. I don't quite understand why. I wonder if it's because we haven't got any wingers, and wingers generally do the movement up and down the wing and take the ball from the midfield to the forward line. I don't know. Baxter plays the throw to Hogard. Back to Baxter. And a first-time cross. And there's Jimenez, and there is the back of the net. First goal of the game, first league goal of the season for Jimenez, but his 5th goal altogether, which is quite a hell of a return. Baxter with the first-time cross, and defence was so bad there by Cannons that Jimenez was able to take a touch and then take the shot. Should not really be able to take a touch there. Can we add another one before half-time? Be nice if we could. And you sort of think now, looking at this team now, you think to yourself, they probably could have done better against Maribor. They probably could have done. There's a lot of strength here, and there's Rose with the first-time cross. Hogard, who is the... Hogard's the target man, so you'll see him doing a lot of that. And there we go, Marlon Manning with his first goal for Europa Point. A good goal as well. The player from Montserrat, which I believe is a Caribbean island, I think. See Hogard there, showing his good target man skills, heading it down to Jimenez. Jimenez volleyed it, bounced off a defender, and Manning was there to volley it into the back of the net. So we are 2-0 up before half-time. So it's going to be a good season for us, this one, I think. I'd be disappointed if we didn't walk out of here with all 4 trophies this year. And I'm hoping that this is going to be, well, next year is going to be our year where we start to... get a bit further in the Champions League. Well, we only need to get through... Well, I say we only need to. If we get through a couple of rounds in the Champions League, then we can get into the Europa League group stages at least. And that's what's going to really boost up our reputation and boost up our money as well. And then once we boost up our reputation and our money, that's when we can start to look at signing up some bigger players and then trying to get further and further in the Champions League. It's all about a growing process now. There's nothing holding us back now. We've got the professional status. We know we can get the money. It's just all about now just trying to grow every season and getting a little bit further, a little bit closer, and just edging our way forwards. Great ball up by Frank Evans is picked up by Hogard out on the wing. Plays the ball in. Velez knocks it past the keeper and it's 3-0. And Velez continues his great goal scoring form alongside Cristobal. I'm forgetting these names already now. There's just too much going on. Too much going on. But Velez with the goal. Joining Jimenez. I thought I knew it was Jimenez. We've had so many Jimenezes now. I think we should make a substitution maybe. Hogard's done really well. I think we should bring on Michael Luke just to give him a little bit of fitness. And do we want to change the formation slightly? I think we do, don't we? So let's make that substitution. Let that run. And then we'll make another substitution just to change things up a little bit and bring on a couple of new players that haven't seen yet. And it's going to be good to see Michael Luke playing alongside these two really good strikers. Hopefully they'll be able to rub off on him. So we're gonna bring Manning into the middle maybe. Should we? No, let's bring Manning off because he has been booked, and we'll push Foster over here because Foster's struggling for energy. And we will bring on Jobello for his debut, a French winger. And we're going to bring on McDonald at left midfield. It's not his favourite position playing it like this. But we'll get some good play out of him, I think, still. That's all our free substitutes used this game. So hopefully no injuries come up. But be good to see another couple of good players come onto the pitch and show what they can do. So Baxter now forward to Foster. To Baxter. Sees the run of Luke. And having these three strikers just gives us a bit more width as well. And Velez almost scored his second of the game. Yeah, having the three strikers gives us a bit more width as well. So that's pretty good. And as you can see, we are selling out consistently all of our away stands at every single game. I'm hoping that we're going to start doing that for all the home games as well. And then we can look to try and hassle the board to build us a stadium once again. Baxter with a throw. It's been cut out by Ward, who plays the ball forward. And it looks like Cannons could have a counter-attack here. Forward to Murray. Sees the run of Flynn. Over the top of Rose's head to Fogden. There's a big deep cross. It's off the crossbar. And Baxter clears it. Bit lucky there. So Jobello's on his debut. I wouldn't expect too much from him at the moment. He's very, very unfit. He's not played a single minute for us yet. He came in quite late in the transfer window, so he didn't get any Champions League football. Missed all the friendlies as well. And at the moment we played quite narrow formations, so we've not really used any wingers. Heighton to Rose. Plays it forward to Evans. Forward to Jimenez. Sees Velez inside him. And these two guys have really just linked up fantastically well together. Velez to Jimenez again. Michael Luke's in the middle. Can Jimenez find him? He does. Michael Luke with a header, and there's the back of the net, and it's a goal for Michael Luke as well. And the Gibraltarian players are still scoring goals, which is good to see. We're not going to get rid of all of our Gibraltarian players, but we're just going to keep the elite ones. We don't really want to keep around all the ones that are just there. We had a full Gibraltarian squad beforehand, but that's because we had no choice really. Until we went professional, we couldn't sign anyone else. So we're going to keep some of the better ones like Michael Luke, Foster, of course, McDonald in goal, Frank Evans, of course. We've got Baxter. We've got a few really good players. We've got Ashley Riley as well as another right back. So we've got a few really good Gibraltarian players, but we're not going to... They're not going to be the first choice, I think, a lot of them. But we'll still look to build up the nation as we go on. It's all about bringing through the good youth players. If there's no good youth players, then we can't really do much about it, to tell the truth. They're in. They're going to get consolation. No, good save by McDonald. And these guys deserve another clean sheet, really. They're a really good defensive performance by all of them. There's the corner by Fogden. It's gone straight across, but Rose clears it. Now Rose looks like a really good player. I'm really liking this Mick Rose. Looks like he's got a hell of a lot of assists in him as well. And talking of assists, Jimenez, 1 goal, 2 assists in this match. He looks like an absolute stonker of a player. You can see why all the Liga BBVA clubs were after him now, can't you? Another corner for them. They're dominating the majority of the end of this match. And there is a goal. Murray has scored and Cannons have got one back. It's still 4-1 with only 4 minutes left. There's not going to be a lot of difference in this result, is there really? But still, it's a bit of a shame we couldn't keep a clean sheet. A lot of bouncing around in the middle there. A bit of a messy bit of defending, but still, it doesn't really matter, does it? 25 shots to their 6. And you'd think with 25 shots we would have scored more goals than 4, wouldn't you really? But I'm not going to complain. Velez, there's a bit of a bad pass there by Velez, and it's been picked up by Ward, who plays it forward and peaks on there now. Who plays it inside to Flynn. Can they find a second goal in this game? Palmer. Brings it down to Fogden, who plays it into Flynn. I think they wasted a bit of time here. The ball comes back, and that was a very, very bad pass that was almost picked up by the strikers for Europa Point, but the referee blows a whistle. I think out of kindness more than anything. And there we go. A win in the first game of the season. Cristobal Jimenez with a man of the match for the second match in a row. Of course, he got 4 goals in the Pepe Reyes Cup and a goal and 2 assists here in the first match of the season. That should put us rock top at the table, and it does. And yeah, I think we're going to dominate this season once again. So what I'll do is the same as we've done the last few years. I'm going to whiz through nearly all of the season now, because you only really need to see the Champions League, really, don't you? And that's the main thing. So yeah, we'll whiz through the majority of the season. We'll come back for the end, and hopefully we should have an episode of 2 cup finals for you, the Rock Cup final and the Senior League Cup final, and of course the end of the season as well. And then we'll look at next year's Champions League and any potential new players we can sign. If you have enjoyed this episode, then please do hit that like button. It does help me out a lot. And of course, if you are new around here, be sure to subscribe for a lot more of this Football Manager 2K16 challenge. 2K16? Football Manager 16 challenge. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in a few days for the end of the season. Believe it or not. Bye!